It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes.
Hello, hello. Good evening from Europe. It's 5:30 p.m. CET. Piotr here. And it's Monday, and for quite some time we do crypto market update Monday afternoon. Actually, I'm trying to find the right time for you guys. So hopefully we are upcoming the European close, middle of the US session. So hopefully it's gonna be suitable for you. Anyway, let's start with risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all initial investments, so please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay. We are going to check Bitcoin versus US dollar. We are going to check Ethereum versus US dollar, as well as Ethereum versus Bitcoin with the move above 0.02. Looks quite positive. That's what we are going to discuss over the course of our meeting today. Just one thing in relation to the FX market, in relation to the indices, we are going to have a meeting tomorrow, so you are more than welcome to join. All right, so what we have from the Bitcoin perspective, let's start with the weekly chart. If you remember, we were discussing that a week ago, right? And I've been trying to explain what I'm waiting for, of course, based on the price action we've seen at the beginning of the June 2019, right? So this pullback before this spike to the upside, okay? So that was the creation of the base, that was the creation of possible demand, right? And the level, the zone been tested, right? And we seen huge spike 3 weeks ago, right? We hit supply based on what we had on the week from the very beginning of September, okay? Then we hit that mid zone, 50% of that supply, and since then we are in a pullback here in Bitcoin. All right, so we are testing levels below 9,000, and I've been trying to explain previously what I'm waiting for are levels close to 8,500, 8,400 based on this doji candle, weekly doji candle here before the spike happened. Okay, now let's switch to the daily chart. Okay, so there was an attempt yesterday. There was an attempt to push prices higher, right? Unfortunately, we failed around 9,200, and it was mostly based on the range, bottom of the range we've seen on the 4th of November, right? So we hit that overall broken previous consolidation, right? That's That's quite. That's quite important, right? So we hit that level, and since then there is a sell-off going on here on the Bitcoin. And to be honest with you, it's getting almost ready to test this 8,500, 8,400 based on the weekly chart we discussed, right? But it also ready, as I mentioned, it might be on the weekly, it might be visible as a lower shadow, but the move down here towards this broken swing high, right, towards this last rising candle here from the 20th of October, right, and that's the 8,250, 8,150. So we might see levels towards even 8,000, right? Of course, the move back and close below 7,500, as I mentioned previously, it's gonna be catastrophic here, okay? But looks like even today it might be very, very interesting and important from the daily close perspective. But before I will explain, let me show you how can we eventually try to check the levels where they are going by equal moves. And as you can see, this 8,250. So the latest weakness we've seen here, 20th, 21st of October, right? So that might be possible as well. Now, that's what I'm waiting for, right? So as you have in the title, 8,500 and levels a little bit lower. That's what I'm really waiting for from that chart perspective. But it might be very interesting what's going to happen today, right? Because if bulls are going to manage to close around yesterday open, or maybe even a little bit above, so we might see another attempt to go higher tomorrow and Wednesday eventually. Okay, so that's quite important, quite significant, and I think it might be worth to watch today's daily close. All right. So overall, for now, I'm waiting for the levels we discussed. I'm waiting for this 8,500, 8,250, maybe 8,150. But then the green zone, of course, I would like to see strong bounce from here. I would like to see bullish reaction at these levels. Okay. Of course, in case of rally back, what I would like to see first, going and close above yesterday high, so going through that yesterday high, closing above, and then also we have to remember about this trend line we have. Also, we have to close above the trend line. That might spur bullish price action. Okay, and to the downside, we know the levels. So let's have a look from the intraday perspective. So from the intraday chart perspective, looks like the yesterday move back retest. It was the 50% of that latest consolidation. All right, before the breakdown. So that was the retest. We've been rejected and we made new low, right? So for sure some stops were taken out here on the Bitcoin from the intraday perspective. And as you can see, what we discussed previously, it's also very well visible here on this intraday chart. The zone from the intraday perspective, which might be interesting from the buying perspective, equal moves 8,250. So on almost all time frames, started at weekly, going down to intraday. This zone is visible and is represented by some previous price action, the price action we've seen in the past. So yeah, that's how I see the things on the Bitcoin. I'm really bullish. You know, I don't want to bias anyone, right? I don't want to bias anyone, but we have to reach some levels, and then I'm going to watch the price action. All right, let's have a look what we have on the Ethereum. Because the situation has changed. Let's start with Ethereum versus Bitcoin first, and then I will explain my point of view. So Ethereum versus Bitcoin, the most important thing is that we got back above 0.02, right? So finally there is some kind of the action going on here as well, right? Some positives. Yeah, still plenty things to do for bulls here, right? And you know, I don't know if we are going to have a fireworks or big fireworks before Bitcoin halving in May 2020, right? But at least something is going on. The situation has changed a bit in favor of bulls. So let's have a look what we have here. So that's quite important level when we are talking about the levels above 2. This 0.22 0.23 are gonna be crucial, or might be crucial. We are talking about the whole zone like this, right? So we saw the rejection from 0.023. We saw the rejection from the from that zone, and there is the last around 0.025. That's where we going, in my opinion, because that's the level where we've seen this latest reaction, right? And this level hasn't been tested yet, right? Well, I think that we might see even a little bit higher levels. Now to the downside, we're trying to hold the levels related to where we seen latest Ethereum weakness versus Bitcoin, right? So we're trying to hold this level, and we hold that level twice already, okay? So one can argue that this is some kind of the consolidation going on right now, right here, all right? Some may try to call that consolidation as some kind of the head and shoulder, but head and shoulder is a topping formation, so I wouldn't call that head and shoulders. But anyway, if we are going to treat that as a consolidation, right? So in case of the break to the upside, right, we might see, as I mentioned, we might see even higher levels towards 0.026, 0.027. So in that case, if we are going to make one line higher, right, we have that was the reaction I've been talking about, and that's the whole demand zone. That was the demand zone, and we were trying, before the break happened, we were trying to hold that zone, right? So right now, in case of the break of that consolidation we see right now, we might have the rally even towards 0.026, 0.027, depends on what kind of the chart you are going to use. Of course, it's gonna work the same way in case of the breakdown, right? If the buyers are gonna to fail here, we might see new low coming in for Ethereum versus Bitcoin, all right? But as of now, especially because of what is going on here, I think that we might see attempt to go higher, and that's why I think that Ethereum versus USD is going to have a chance, to go higher, at least towards 225, 230, to retest the supply we discussed already a few times. Okay, so that's how I see the thing. So in that case, we see another pullback towards 180, 175. It might be opportunity to try tiny longs with the stops right below the low. So from risk reward perspective, it could make sense, in case of R, because we are going to risk like something close to $15 to grab 45, right? So those three are that could be the case. Here, right? So especially buying the dip towards 175. That's what I'm eventually talking. That's what I'm talking about here. Ethereum versus Bitcoin. But of course, from that chart perspective, the key level for Ethereum is what we discussed already, levels towards 250. So move and the 2 consecutive daily close above 250. That could be the solution for bulls. As of now, it might be more like a longer consolidation, and I would say what I can see right now, it's something in between. Let's make it a little bit wider. So the consolidation between 150 and 250. So the whole $100 consolidation. Taking into the consideration that we are trading at 180, so the consolidation of $100 is quite wide, right? So I think it's worth to take that into the consideration as well. So trying to summarize again, as of now, pullbacks down below 180 towards 175 with tight stop below 67, below 66, 167, 166. So somewhere around $10 stops with the possible rally towards 220, 240 on Ethereum. It's worth, in my opinion, to watch Ethereum versus Bitcoin, right? To get the whole point, what might happen with Ethereum versus USD, as well as Bitcoin USD here, as discussed. I'm waiting for that equal move. It might bring us towards 8,500, 8,250. And then what we already discussed, eventually bullish price action should happen. That's the latest weakness we've seen on Bitcoin here, right ahead of this spike to the upside. So that's how I see the things on the crypto market, especially when we are talking about the Bitcoin and Ethereum. Don't forget, guys, we are going to cover a few events tomorrow. We are going to cover them live in terms of the Forex market, when we are talking about the indices as well. So be with us tomorrow as well. That's it from me today, guys. Have a great evening. Don't chase the market, don't chase the prices. We should wait for them. We should invite those prices to come to us. All right, have a great one, guys. It was my pleasure as usual. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.